Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Red-Handed Robin. This is your possibly inebriated host, Dan. so, this is the next video. In the last video, I had mentioned I was enjoying a beverage. I may or may not have finished and or are continuing to enjoy my beverage. It has been a bit of time since. I don't know if things are getting better or worse. I suppose up until this video gets released to public on YouTube, only Editor Dan will know. So Editor Dan, hopefully I don't screw everything up for you. If I do, I don't know, I'll double your pay. Let's just double his pay, guys. Double his pay. Yeah, let's double his pay. What's 2 times 0, everyone? Great, let's go with that. Okay. So, let's see. We had gotten a story from the that posh woman, and we were figuring out how that related to everything that was going on. Is this story important somehow? I thought it over. Yeah. Okay. I don't actually know. However, in the last video, I did go over a couple of scenarios where I think that might be the case. If you are wondering what those were, I will not go over them right now because I do not believe I am in a state to be able to accurately reproduce what I had said just even half an hour ago. Half a minute, maybe half an hour, no, not so much. So if you would like that, go back 1 episode. And you can skip to the end and listen to what I'm going to call my, I don't know, overthinking. All right. And just, you can come back after that and see. But I think I kind of have a grasp of what it could be given those scenarios that I posted out. So I'm going to say that I knew, and I wonder if it gives me the options of, like, picking what I knew. Oh, the magpie was death. No, the maiden was death. The magpie was death. Huh. That's interesting. This is not where I was going. It does give me an out to say I don't know, but given these options, the magpie being death, so the magpie coming, taking something valuable, and then going off and dying. Well, it did say that the maiden didn't die, so if the magpie was death, that could be symbolic. So the maiden had the, I don't know, the characteristic of immortality. Magpie came and took something from her, and she would live on forever, something having been taken from her, and being lonely and isolated. And the magpie had gone off, having taken that thing that was one thing that was precious to her that she had given away freely. And that fits, I think, but the maiden being death. So if the maiden were death, the magpie would come and take something for her, or trick her, or to cheat her, perhaps, and to cheat death. And to cheat death, the magpie would have taken something from her, and then flown off, and death being changed. That doesn't fit quite so much. And even if you were to say the maiden was the man that was murdered, we took jewels from him, okay, but then the man that was murdered being left changed, and then but also the magpie was changed. I'm gonna go with the magpie was death. The magpie was death, right? They were upset that the maiden didn't have to die, that she was breaking the rules. So they tricked her into giving up her power. If that was right, it was a rather sad story. At least she won't be alone for eternity. I wonder. Have you heard this story before, perchance? No, this is the first time. The first witch is a monster meant to scare Gaelish children into behaving. It's no more than a fairy tale. What is it you wanted to get out of this, Wren? Now, Fletcher, don't be such a stick in the mud. You said you were familiar with this story. Then you should also know that it's widely believed that the Maiden's Eye really existed. Is that so? How interesting. Oh yes, the Maiden's Eye is said to be a ruby gemstone of unparalleled beauty. A gemstone? Uh-oh. So the Maiden's Eye is a gemstone. What did Robin steal? A suitcase full of gems, jewels, and gemstones? Guys! So is Wren saying that somebody came in and stole the gemstone? Possibly the Maiden's Eye, which is an actual gemstone. A fairy tale, like, that has stories and fairy tales about it. Fletcher scowled. I'm aware. But if such a stone ever existed, it's been lost to history. Many have searched for it, and it's never been found. Perhaps you're right, though it is a lovely idea. A stone capable of bringing back the dead. Really? Okay, so that's far off from what I was thinking the story was going for. Is there all of a sudden some, like, occult or, like, mystical thing going on in the story? I don't know. This was no coincidence. Jay realized it as well. He put his hand to his chin, deep in thought. Was there anything like that among the things we stole? What an intriguing mystery! I had no idea. I simply must read more of that book tonight. Fletcher seemed quite frustrated with this topic of conversation. Non-existent magical stones aside, I do wonder where that book came from. There was nothing like that in my own room. Yeah, I think Wren planted that. He wanted to have it as like a conversation piece, and he probably knew that like elegant woman, I believe, was the exact naming. I believe he knew that the elegant woman would have found it interesting and would have brought it up in conversation. Now that he mentioned it, I don't remember seeing any books in our room either. Yet another mystery! Though I suspect the reason behind this one is rather ordinary. I assume it was study material left accidentally by one of the staff. I'm sure they would want to be well read on the subject of Gales. You have an answer for everything, don't you, detective? I'm simply a problem solver. I solve problems. Ha ha! Fletcher looked like he had more to say about that, but was quickly distracted as another attendant had entered the car. It's a different guy, with his other eye covered. These attendants are sus. He rushed to Fletcher's side, panting as though he had run the length of the train. Interesting. Why is everybody going to Fletcher and whispering to him? Everyone watched as he leaned down and whispered in Fletcher's ears, just as the other attendant had. Fletcher clenched his jaw and scowled, clearly upset by whatever the man had said. Pardon me, everyone. There is something I must take care of. I thought he was like a minor character, but I didn't take notice of what Fletcher's importance was. So I don't know. Like, is he like related to the owner of the car, the train rather? And is he like some manager or something? Fletcher stood and made for the door the attendant had just come through. What is going on here? Is something wrong, Mr. Rhodes? Apparently, some passengers have decided they are above the rules here. Oh, the only 2 people that have left, or 3, were the men. Such thinking is dangerous. But don't worry, it's nothing I can't handle. In such a small space, order must be preserved, or we will quickly devolve into chaos. I urge the rest of you to stay put for the time being, as a precaution. He turned to the attendant that had just arrived. Bitters, keep an eye on everyone. So that attendant was Bitters. Grouse with me. So that attendant is called Grouse. He was the one who came into our room. The large attendant, who had been stationed in the corner of the car all evening, obediently went to Fletcher's side. Fletcher paused at the door, turning around to address Wren. Detective, I believe we had an agreement about how you would conduct yourself while on my train. Okay, so he is like the manager or the owner or something. That's why all the attendants were rushing to him, because he's the man on top. Okay, got it. I hope I can trust you not to go back on your word. Of course not, Fletcher. I'd never do such a thing. Your train? I suppose there's no hiding it anymore. I may as well come clean. The train is a passion project of mine. My company built it. It's because of me, Miss Robin, that your trip is even possible. I got it. Got it. Love it when I'm right. Love it when I'm right. And if I don't want to be right, I will just go back to playing an adventure game. Oh, or I can go back to playing a Nancy Drew game, which, spoiler, is in the works later down the line. So I don't know when I will be doing that, but I have plans for a new Nancy Drew, maybe not new, a new to my channel Nancy Drew game in the works for the future. So for anybody interested, there is going to be something like that coming down the line, likely next year. When next year, I don't know, but something will come. Okay? You're welcome. My mind raced as the pieces fell into place. I wasn't aware. My apologies. Apologies aren't necessary. I hadn't intended to reveal that fact. Now, if you'll excuse me. And with that, he disappeared through the doorway. My, I hope everything is all right. I can't believe Mr. Rhodes is the owner of the Whirlwind. Why do you think he kept it a secret? Perhaps he wanted to mingle without the pressures that come with such things. It's hard to know who your real friends are when everyone wants something from you. I'm sure that will be a mark in your favor, Robin. He must get tired of women chasing him for his assets alone. The others were talking about gossip again, but I wasn't paying them any attention. My eyes met Wren's, and I could see the gears turning behind them. Fletcher had all but explicitly told him to behave himself. What is it he doesn't want you to do? Interesting. What is it? He told him behave because he knew he had something in mind, but what would that be? To delay the train by pulling the brake or something and trying to take more time to figure out who the culprit is? It seems we'll be stuck here for a while. Perhaps we should play a game? Okay, hold on now. Who are you? Jigsaw? Get it? If you know who I'm talking about, put it down in the comments. You probably do. It was a major movie. What do you have in mind, detective? He smirked and held up 3 fingers. It's called 3 Lies. It's a Gaelish drinking game. Have you heard of it? Uh-oh. 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 As a matter of fact, I have. Ren and I had played this game the very last time I saw him. It wasn't Gaelish at all. He had made it up himself. If I recall, Detective, this game is meant to be played by 3 people. We'd be excluding over half our number. I don't know about everyone else, but that's quite all right with me. Yes, I think just watching will be entertaining enough. I'll sit out the first game as well. It will be easier to learn that way. Do you want to play, dear? No. There you have it. There's no problem if you, Jay, and I play first. I don't want. Jay, it will be fun. You should play with us. Down, dog. Very well. Robin, why don't you explain the rules for Jay? Of course. The 3 of us will pass around a coin, taking turns saying something about ourselves. It can either be a lie or a truth. If you lie and it goes unnoticed, when the coin passes to the next person, you get a point. But before that, the other 2 have the opportunity to call you out. If they do, and they're right, you get a strike, and they get a point. If they're wrong, they get a strike. 3 points, and you win. 3 strikes, and you lose. Excellently said. Thank you, Robin. This is a game of trust. We have to take each other's words that we're being honest here. That wasn't how we played it the first time, though. When Ren invented the game, he had a different goal in mind. Now, we need a coin. He rummaged through his pockets. Oh, I have one. The elegant woman took a coin from her purse and handed it to Ren. It's Galish silver. They say it has special properties. How appropriate. Does anyone mind if I go first? By all means, Detective. He smiled and held the coin in front of him. Ahem. I, Ren, am 29 years old. That wasn't right. He's not much older than me. He should be 26. Did he intend for me to point that out? Yes, he did intend for you to point that out. Let's not call him out because then we're giving up the fact that we know him. It was an obvious lie, one he knew I would notice, but there was something about the way he worded it. The boy I knew had a different name. He might not be 29, but perhaps Ren was. I remained silent and Jay followed my lead. No objections? Alright then. I believe it's your turn, Robin. He passed the coin to me. My, Detective, you look good for your age. Yes, I have to agree. You have a very youthful face. Thank you. Interesting. So if they're saying that he looks young, perhaps we could have called him out on that. But I don't know. Like, he's got some facial hair growing in, and he's got, like, unkempt hair, so that could be that he just, looks young for his age. I will tell you, I look young for my age, and I have facial hair as well, which help make me look closer to my age. But I grow out facial hair in order to do that, to make myself look a bit older. But when I shave, I look a lot younger. I thought about what to say. I don't know what game we're playing, but it's not 3 lies. I decided to wait and see where things were going. I prefer coffee over tea. Neither Jay nor Ren objected, so I passed on the coin. I wonder what Jay will say. He thought for a moment before speaking. I have at least 1 sibling. What an intriguing way to word that. You've certainly piqued my interest. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not. That's part of my charm, don't you think? Jay has at least 1 sibling. That's... At least 1 sibling, so more than 1. Huh. Man. We can... When it comes to Jay, we do have a level of being able to be wrong about him because, according to the backstory, or the story presented to everybody on the train, he is a bodyguard who was hired on and that we're having a fling with. And unless your siblings come up, or the number of siblings come up as a matter of pillow talk, there's really nothing to say, you know, like that you would have to be right. However, him having more than one sibling, I mean, he's very, very type A. So I feel like if he had a sibling, it would be incredibly tiresome. But it is interesting that he worded that at least one sibling. Because if he was like, if he did have one sibling, you could be very type A. If you were the youngest and nobody really like gave a care. And if we're wrong, we get a strike. So 3 strikes and you're out, right? I think I'm just gonna leave that as the truth. It was the truth. I had met someone before who called Jay his brother. Oh! Huh. Interesting. I didn't call him out on it, and neither did Detective Ren. Jay passed on the coin, and once again, it was Ren's turn. I, Ren, have never met anyone on this train before yesterday. Dude. Interesting. Before yesterday. Now, we don't... Robin and Ren, the pseudonyms, they have not met before yesterday. Now, is there a person that we could say that Ren had met before yesterday? And possibly that could have been Fletcher, but they could have also just met that day, but earlier than we had come onto the train. Again, he phrased it strangely. Yes, he's met me, but had Ren ever met anyone on the train before? I feel like we shouldn't call him out on it, because we don't know if he had met anyone else on the train, right? Because we met him on the train platform, but that was just yesterday. We could assume that he had met other people, but our interactions were with him on the train platform, and then him in the dining car while we were all talking together with everyone. But that doesn't have any room for us to be able to say that he has met anyone else, so let's not call him out on it. I didn't say anything again, and once again, neither did Jay. Ren passed me the coin, and as soon as it was in my hands, that's a point for me. I was lying. He's met someone on the train before. It has to be Fletcher, right? But we had no proof of that. If I understood correctly, he didn't mean me. Was Ren trying to pass me information under the guise of a game? Then it has to be Fletcher. I suppose I forgot to mention, but there is a time penalty, Robin. My apologies. I haven't played in a while. It was my turn, so I thought over my options. I'm certain that Ren is trying to tell me something with his answers. Okay. I feel like he's telling us that Fletcher, maybe Fletcher is like the real detective, or like he's informing us maybe that Fletcher is not what he seems to be, or what he appears to be perhaps, and that he's stealing from everyone on this train that is here in the dining cart. And like Ren is the accomplice, not the head guy. And that's why Fletcher is gone, because he's actively doing the stealing right now. As much as I dislike it, I should play my turn safe. The safest bet was to tell the truth to try and trip one of them up. I've been engaged twice, and I've given dance lessons. Well, we don't know any of this. Let's say I don't know, what is the truth? Let's say we've given dance lessons. I've given dance lessons before. It wasn't too much of a stretch. I was confident this doesn't count as a lie. Jay looked conflicted, but Ren spoke up. I think you're lying. A businesswoman and a teacher? There just aren't enough hours in the day. I was never fond of my own dance lessons, something Ren was quite aware of. He'd fallen for my trap. Perhaps I don't look the type, but it's true. Just ask Jay. Stay silent, my guy. Stay silent, stay strong. She's alright, I suppose. You taught Jay how to dance? That's so romantic. Oh man, he looks heartbroken. I bet you have 2 left feet, don't you, Glasses? No, I'd wager he's quite good. It would be an interesting contrast, don't you think? Please stop talking. That's your first strike, isn't it, Detective? You're right, and I won't be baited into another. Satisfied with my turn, I passed the coin on to Jay. He closed his eyes and thought. He seemed to be having a hard time coming up with something. He's not usually keen on talking about himself. I've never had a pet. I just don't see the point. Jay never having a pet. I don't know. He seems like the loner type. But I feel like people who don't have a lot of social interaction amongst people, I feel like they tend to have pets. Like a lot of introverts tend to have a pet of some sort, I feel like, or at least any that I've met, they've all had pets, whether it be a cat or a dog, something like for companionship. And even if you're not there for companionship, you just have something to take care of, like a goldfish or a lizard or something. So wait, what did he say that he did or he didn't? He's saying he didn't. I think he's lying. I think he may have had like a goldfish or maybe a frog or something. Maybe nothing like too time intensive like a dog or a cat, but I feel like he may have had like some kind of pet. So maybe we call him out on this. I wasn't sure why, but that struck me as false. I think you're lying, Jay. I agree. You wouldn't know. No, but I suspect Robin would. Was she right? Yes, I was lying. Yeah, boy! Yeah, I knew it! Oh yeah, call me Detective Dan. Detective Dan. Just don't call me Lieutenant Dan, because I got 2 feet. I'm sorry, was that too soon? If you know that reference, you know where to go. Down in the comments, you guys. You had a pet? What kind? A cat. I'm fond of them. What did I tell you? I knew he had a soft side hidden deep down. You have such a sense for these things. He's embarrassed. Imagining Jay taking care of a cat was rather cute. What was their name? He doesn't want to say. I don't have to tell you. That's not in the rules. What do you mean? What you mean is that you don't want to say. Perhaps it's too embarrassing. Is there a time penalty? Ah, yes, you're right. Ren looked at the coin thoughtfully. I, Ren, often lie to my superior. Uh-oh, the attendant gave him a little look. The attendant gave him a curious glance. If Ren noticed, he didn't react. His expression was more serious than it had been previously. There's something important about this statement. So, I think I'm feeling even more like Fletcher is like the head thief guy, and Ren, again, if you guys remember, he got kicked out of the house as an orphan, no money to his name. It makes sense that he would have fallen into a bad crowd in order to survive, right? That makes sense. And with that in mind, like, it would have been easy for him to be picked up, like, what was it, 9, 10, 11 years old, to be brought into a gang, right? Or a bandit, what do they call them? Like, a group of bandits or whatever. And him being, like, the distraction. And he's saying that he frequently lies to his superiors. And so that is information he's relaying to us. He's working or helping us, really. Where he's not chasing us. He's actually trying to help us. And so when he said that he lies to his superiors, like, the attendant looked at him kind of like, wait a minute. So I think the attendants are also in on it. And I had mentioned that the attendants are, like, perhaps they look rough, man. The attendants look rough. Like, not just like security rough, but like gangster rough. Like, one guy had the, like, gash in his eye. The other guy, was there one guy that had, like, an eye patch? There was one, like, bouncer looking guy. I feel like they're probably part of some thief bandit group. And Ren is just like the front man. You know, he's the guy that's like razzle dazzle everyone while everything is happening in the background. And I think to save his what do I call it? To save his appearance that he's with them. Like, if we call him out and he says, "Yep, you're right, I was lying," then it's like, okay, then the people that he's supposedly working with would be like, all right, he was lying, got it, okay, cool. Whereas if we don't call him out, then it's like, so maybe to save him, we call him out on it. But that is counter to what Fletcher had told us. Because Fletcher had told us that he was a bad detective, that he had done some shady stuff. And if we go with what Fletcher said, then we should say that, yes, you're right, you don't lie. No, you do lie to your superiors, because then that goes with what Fletcher said. But we could easily not call him out and allow him to be like, oh, yep, point for me, because I don't lie to my superior. In this game of cat and mouse, what is the direction we should go? Because we know he's trying to communicate with us. We know that. And here, at this point, as Ren, his superior, he is telling us that he lies to his superior. Now, we could go with what Fletcher has told us. and that'd be fine, right? But he said that while Ren was not here. And we could just take it at face value with what Fletcher had said. But then, as far as what is a lie and what is not a lie, is something that comes down to what Ren tells us. Because we could say, well, we heard this from Fletcher. And he could be like, well, he was lying. I don't know what to tell you. So, in this game, we should disregard it. Let's say we... Now, he has said that he has had some interesting views on justice and such. I don't know, should we call him out? Again, if we call him out, oh man, I feel like my brain is slowing down right now. Let's say we call him out, right? That means we're saying, no, you don't lie. He could say, well, you're right. You're right. Or we don't call him out. He could say, well, that's a point for me. If we give him a point, then he lasts longer, so he can give us more information. So let's not call him out. If what Fletcher said about him was true, then Ren must lie to his superior quite often. I decided not to object. The coin passed to me and Ren spoke up. I was lying. It's actually quite difficult to lie to my superior, but I found other ways to protect my secrets. Smile, smirk, grin. Okay, I figured that might have been the right call because that keeps him in the game longer to give us more. But now he's given us a little extra tidbit because he can't lie to his superior because in this case, Fletcher has the attendants and the attendants are watching him. And basically he's telling us, I have found ways to subvert the big man on top, but you have to find out how I'm doing it, how I'm communicating, and to find my secrets. Yeah, and I think this game is one of those ways. Detective. Ren ignored him. I believe that means I've won. Yes, good show. That was most entertaining. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. You were wonderful, Detective. Congratulations, Ren. You're a difficult opponent. You're rather formidable yourself. It would have been quite the disaster if you'd lost, though. Yeah, being a detective. What a spectacular failure of a detective you would be if you couldn't tell a simple white lie from the truth. Jay was clearly sore about losing. At least I played the game myself. You simply followed Robin's lead. That is true. Perhaps you shouldn't participate if you don't have any thoughts of your own. I needed to interject before this got out of hand. Both of you are being a bit childish, don't you think? He started it. Whoa, whoa. Crash. Whoa, what's going on? The car shook slightly as we heard a muffled commotion from down the train. What was that? What, the attendant's looking away. Yeah, see, the attendants always have like one eye hidden, and it feels very like there's like an air of mystery. The attendant gave Ren a conflicted look, and there's something there. They're like working together in some way. Go on, I'll be fine here. He nodded and quickly left the car in the direction of the noise. The group sat in tense silence for a moment. Something strange is happening. Once the attendant was well and truly gone, Ren looked as though he was about to say something. But he was cut off by one of the older women. Oh my, I do hope Fletcher can handle himself. But in the meantime, how about a spot of fun? I agree, now that our babysitter has left. The deep-voiced woman drew back her sleeve, revealing a silver watch. I couldn't see its face, but it began ticking rhythmically. Why didn't we hear that before? Uh-oh. Oh my god, is there a bomb? Dude! Was there a bomb? Is there a bomb? Is that why there's a ticking? Are the old women in on it too? Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know. So much going on. And I'm sorry to do this, but we're going to end the video here. We're going to begin it on a high note in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope that you will come back to find out whether it was a bomb or what, but Ren definitely has a surprised and interested look in his face. I hope you will have an interested enough face to come back for the next one. And until then, everyone,